Welcome to all. So we have completed the 49 and 50 verses last week with the Ramayana example in the 50th verse. Now we are going to just recap those two verses and then we will go to the 51 and 52. जीवन्मुक्तस्यु तद्विद्वान् पूर्वोपाधिगुणान् त्यजेत् सच्चिदानन्दरूपत्वात् भवेत् भ्रमरकीटवत्. Just like the transformation of an ugly looking larva into a beautiful, colorful, enjoyable, liberated butterfly, you can also transform yourself, provided you have the willingness to make those little changes in your understanding. Tirtva moharnavam hatva ragadveshadirakshasan yogi shanti samayuktaha Atma Ramo Virajate. So, first of all, you must not be after the material pleasures. Once you withdraw yourself from the material pleasures and slowly cross the ocean of samsara with great effort, you have to win several inner wars and battles, and several enemies are there. Countless number of enemies. Even if you behead one, again the head sprouts. That is the Ragadvesha Adirakshasan Hatva Tirtva Moharnavam. Yogi, the composed person, will be associated with his original Shanti. Shanti is not something different. Shanti is his own Swarupa only. Shanti Yogi Samayuktaha Atma Ramaha Virajate. He shines forth from them. These are the two examples we have seen. Now let us go to the 51st verse. Bahya nitya sukha saktim hitva atma sukha nirvrutaha ghatavat deepavat swastaha svantareva prakashate. Bahya anitya sukha asaktim hitva atma sukha nirvrutaha ghatastha deepavat swastaha svantareva prakashate. Bahya anitya sukha asaktim hitva atma sukha nirvrutaha. Atma sukha, the yogi or the jivan mukta or the jnani who attained the atma jnana, who understood his self, in the abiding self, jivan mukta, relinquishing all his attachments. He said, no, atma ramo virajate. He will be rejoicing or reveling in the atma itself in the previous one. That was the ending. And such a person, atma sukha nirvrutaha, he is ever fixed in the atma sukha itself. How? Relinquishing hitva. What he has to relinquish? Bahya nitya sukha asakti. That's it, relinquished. There's nothing else to relinquish. You can't relinquish your wife, you can't relinquish your job, you can't relinquish your property either, you can't relinquish your life also. This will continue. But what you have to relinquish? The attachment with that, the mental and physical attachment with that illusory external happiness. Bahya anitya sukha asaktim. Asaktim, intense passion, attachment. What is that? Towards what? Sukha asaktim. The pleasures, indriya pleasures, all the pleasures of the mind and the body. What sort of pleasures they are? Anitya sukha asaktim, very transitory, fleeting, impermanent, and not having any independent existence of their own. Where are they? They are both inner and outer. Here the word bahya doesn't mean only external things. It also means the internal lamentations, vicissitudes, confusions, raga and dvesha, all that. Previously also he has told Tirtva Moharnavam Hatva Ragadveshadi Rakshasan. They are inner enemies. Here there are several attachments you have with the outer world too. That's why he is saying Bahya Anitya Sukha Asaktim Hitva Atma Sukha Nirvrutaha Atma Ramo Virajatena Atma Sukha Nirvrta one and the same. Then how he will be? Ghatastha Deepavat Swastaha. Imagine a pot. In that pot, you keep one lamp. What will be the focus of the lamp? To which objects it will focus? It does not focus on anything outside the pot. It confines its illumination to the pot. And second important thing is, if you keep the candle or lamp outside, it is shattered or then it flickers or flutters because of the external influence of wind. Once you enclose it in this pot, this external influence is minimal, so there is no movement of the mind. These two things, The first thing is he focuses on himself, the internal Atma, that is within the pot itself, the luminosity or the light will be there. And secondly, unflittering, unflinching, unflickering, unwavering status of that mind. That is why he has said, Ghatastha Deepavat. Yada Deepo Nivasasto Nanyete Sopama Sprutaha. Bhagavad Gita. Wherever you compare the mind, still mind, you compare it to a lamp without the influence of the gentle wind or breeze. For that, here he has used Ghatastha Deepavat Staha, who is seated, who is planted, who is fixed in the Atma. Where is fixed? Swantareva, in himself. Swa antareva prakashate. He illumines himself with the Atma Jnana, and obviously this Jnani is going to illuminate the world, just as our Guruji is Atma Jnani, is illuminating all of us through the Atma Bodha. Let us read this verse carefully with this basic understanding. Bahya Anitya Sukha Asaktim Hitva Atma Sukha Nirvrutaha. Bahya Anitya Sukha Asaktim Hitva Atma Sukha Nirvrutaha. Ghatastha Deepavat Swastaha. Swastha, seated in himself. Swasthi, be as your own, be what you are. Naku swastata, I want swastata. Swastata means arogya in the common understanding. Swastata means being in one's own self. That is the safest arogya. Anything is the body anarogya will come. If you are in the swastha, swastata or swasti, swastaha, svantareva prakashate. Bahya anitya sukha asaktim. Attachment towards the fleeting joys of the outer world means inner mental enjoyments too. Hitva, after having relinquished Atma Sukha Nirvrutaha, contented with the bliss derived from the self. Gita says, Atmanyeva Atmana Truptaha. He is contented in himself, by himself. Atmanyeva Atmana Truptaha. Ghatastha Deepavat, like a lamp placed inside a jar. Swasthaha, comfortably placed in himself, safely enjoying the Atmahood. Swantaha, within himself eva. Prakashate, science. There are two words here, swastaha, swantaha. What is the difference? Swastaha means perfectly established. That is one meaning. Swantaha means in himself. Where is established? In himself, in the Atma. The previous sloka concluded with the Atma Ramo Virajate. So Atma eva Ramaha, Atma eva Ramaha, Atma eva Ramaha is Atma Ramaha. What is Rama? What is the etymology or vyatpatti of Rama? Ramante sarve asmin iti Rama. Sarve, in all, asmin sarve, in all these things, the one who rejoices, who always dwells, Ramante sarve asmin iti Ramaha. That's why Valmiki ji has put the name Rama, such a wonderful title for the hero, for the name for the hero. Now we have to understand Atma Rama is the real Rama. There is Kodanda Rama outside, Sita Rama, Dasarath Rama. He is none other than the Atma Rama. Praying him is praying this one. Praying this is of course praying him. Okay? Swatma Ramo Virajate. Every Jnani is Atma Rama. Every Ajnani is what? Anatma Ramaha. The person engaged in the anatma pursuits is called the anatma Ramaha. Atma Ramaha, Jagat Jivan Ram. The one who lights up the entire world is the Ram. Jagat Jivan Ram. Jagat Raman. The one who enjoys in the entire world. Jagat Raman. You see the names, people have wonderful names, but unfortunately they don't live to their names. This very thought is very much clarified. He gives up all anatmarati. He is no more anatma Rama. He is atma Rama. So bahya anitya sukha asakti. The anatmarati is totally lost. Revelry or rejoicing in the anatma is no more there. And he always revels or rejoices in the atma. One should recall the slokam from Gita here. It says, Bhatyasparsheshu asaktatma vindatyatmani yat sukham. Gita slokam, Bhatyasparsheshu, with external contacts, anasaktatma, the one not attached with that. Bahya anashakti. Vindati atmani yat sukham. Rejoices in himself atmani yat sukham. Whatever is the atma sukham, in that also only he rejoices. Not with the bahya contact anatma vishaya. Exactly the same verse. Bahya sparseshu asaktatma vindatyatmani yat sukham. Here what is saying? Same verse only here. Bahya nitya sukha saktim titva atma sukha nirvrutaha. Okay. Atmanyeva cha santushtaha. Continuation of that slokam. Atmanyeva cha santushtaha. The Gita slokam. Tasya karyam na vidyate. It does not have anything to accomplish. Tasya karyam na vidyate means he will not have to drink water, he does not have to sleep. That is not the understanding. He has nothing to prove or accomplish for himself in the world. In fact, we always want to prove something to the world. We want labels, we want signatures. Best husband, best worker, best student, best owner. All these labels we are expecting. Who has to give you a label? You yourself is the biggest label, Atma Swarupa. You don't require any external labeling at all. So, the essence is that this person, the Atma Jnani, no longer revels in the Anatma. Whatever is the other than Atma is Anatma. What is Anatma? Just remove Atma, keep Atma. In fact, there is nothing other than the Atma. Only we create all the Anatma, and that confusion he has cleared. Therefore, he no longer depends on the Anatma for his happiness. What we do? I always depend upon external object, external person, external experience for my Ananda. Now, if my son returns from USA, I feel happy. If somebody gifts me a beautiful sari, I feel happy because I always want the happiness to come from outside. Unfortunately, happiness is not outside, happiness is within you. That you have to realize. Anatmarati is depending on the external things for your happiness or your fulfillment. You are already fulfilled. You are full filled. You are fully filled. Purnoham. You are Purna Swarupa. Since Atma is available, that is his Ananda. There are, it is always there. There is no external dependency for the Ananda. He is happy whether things are there or things are not there. In so saying, he is pointing out the difference between a samsari and a jivan mukta. Samsari is the one who always wants from something is incomplete, he wants to make it complete by adding one more item or one more person or one more experience. Whereas Jivan Mukta doesn't want to add anything because he himself is Purna Ananda. Samsari wants external objects or experiences to give him happiness. Jivan Mukta does not require any external stimulus even to keep him happy. Samsari is the one who is a Bahya Vishaya Asakta, whereas this gentleman is the one Bahya Vishaya Anasakta. Why we are always interested in the Bahya Vishaya? Mundakopanishad, Kathopanishad gives a beautiful sloka or mantra. Paranchikhani yatranut swayambhuhu. Tasmat paran pasyati nantaratman. By default, the indriyas and mind are created to chase things, experiences, happiness, relationships outward. This is by default. It was created. You are created like that. But what you have to do, you have to reset the mechanism there. Instead of the default movement outside, you turn it inward. That's what that beautiful sloka says. In the Bahyam refers to Anatma. He says, Bahya Anitya Sukha Asakti. Asakti is attachment. Sukha is seeking pleasure from outside. What pleasures? Anitya Sukham. Impermanent happiness, fleeting happiness, the one which comes and goes, which doesn't have an independent existence, coming from the Bahya Vishaya, external objects. Bahya Vishaya Janya Anitya Sukha Asakti. Bahya Vishaya Janya, created by the external objects, external experiences and people. Anitya, impermanent. Sukha, pleasure. Asakti. Sukha is different from Ananda. You are Ananda Swarupa. There is no opposite to Ananda. There is an opposite for Sukha. What is the opposite? Dukkha. Dukkha and Sukha are a pair of opposites. For Ananda, there is no Anananda. Ananda itself is a one simple state, and there is no negativity in that. Okay, why I don't have, why I should not depend on the external pleasures or the sukha? Anityam. They are not permanent. You see, any happiness you have got in your life, is it permanently giving you happiness? You bought a car, beautiful Mercedes car, 60 lakhs, next day it met an accident, lot of dukkha. What is there in the permanence? There is no permanence in that. Once again, recalling the slokams from the Gita, Yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukhayo navayevate. Yehi, all those samsparshaja bhoga, the one happinesses you get out of contact with the external world, or dukkayonaya. Dukkayonaya eva. They are the origin for all unhappiness. Adyantavantah kaunteya. They are all adi antavantaha. They have a beginning. Of course, they will have an ending. Any external pleasure has a beginning and definitely is an ending. Does not have a permanency. Kaunteya. Bodha Pandita Nateshu Ramate. They never rejoice in the external objects. What a beautiful verse. Yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukayo nayayevate adyantavantah kaunteya nateshu ramate bodha. This exactly this slokam mirrors that Gita sloka. Pleasures which are born of sense objects and sense contact with the objects are verily the source of the entire suffering of mankind. They appear outwardly as sukhas, and in the ultimate analysis, they are a profound grave of unhappiness. Say, for example, you have beautiful types of 6 types of sweets on the table. Go on eating up. So nice, happy. But what is the end result? You see, pariname vishamiva. Vishayendriya sanyogat yat tat agre amrutopamam. When the Vishaya, the object, comes in contact with the tongue or the Indriya, you enjoy beautiful Amrutapaman, like Amruta. Pariname Vishamiva. The end result is very poisonous. Arjuna, for this reason, a wise man does not indulge in worldly pleasures, experiences, objects, and does not have any attachment with the bahya anitya sukha asaktim hitva matra sparshastu kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkada. Matra is the sabda sparsha rupas are there, and the indriya will go and come in contact with the object. Kaunteya sita ushna sukha dukkada. Heat, cold, pleasure, pain, victory, loss, praise, and then ridicule, all are because of the indriya contact. How are they? Agama apaino anitya. Agama, they come. Apaino, they vanish. Anitya, not permanent. Tam. So those ones, titikshasva. You better endure those things and don't indulge in them. Beautiful. This verse is a mirror of many Bhagavad Gita verses. So, samsara we have defined. Now, we say Jivan Mukta is one who relinquished the Anatma Sukham for the sake of Atma Sukham. So, Bahya Anitya Sukha Asaktim Hitva. Hitva means Chaktva. Relinquish, having given up, he having sacrificed, not a painful relinquishment. Here it is a willful, happy sacrifice. For what purpose? Atma Sukha Nirvritaha, to getting nirvrati, contentment, fulfillment, trupti in the Atma. Tushti. Tushti is contentment. Trupti, that's also same. Contentment, fulfillment, tripti, trishti, nirvriti, all mean the same. In what? Atma Sukhe. In the Anatma Sukham, Asaktim Chaktva. For all the Anatma, Anicca Sukha Asakti gone. Atma Sukhe, Nishtataha, Nirvritaha. He is seated in the Atma Sukha. This is why in Lalita Sahasranama Slokam, some of you may be chanting Lalita Sahasranama Slokam. We chant Antarmukha Samaratya Bahirmukha Sudurlabha. What I say? You can perfectly get that Lalita or Durga by Antarmukha. Durga is what? Durga is your Atma only. There is no Durga outside with a kirita and a red sari and a sula. The Durga is the one who gives you the protection from all your raga dveshas from inside. Antarmukha samaratya bahirmukha sudurlabha. If you are bahirmukha, sudurlabha, impossible to get her or attain her. Okay, Bahirmukha, extrovert people, Devi is Sachidananda Swarupini, Devi is Antarmukha Samaratya, Sapta Pragyatmika Turiya, Sarvavastha virajita. Another nama says sapta supta prajnatmika. Beyond the supta, turiya sarva avastha virajita. That is the Atma. That is the Devi. That is the Lalita. These are not different. Lalita, Krishna, these are no different than your Atma. Rama, Krishna, Lalita, Shiva, Ganesh. Don't look at them as different deities with a particular figure or shape and name. They are nothing but the Chaitanya Rupa. A Brahmana is the one who has obtained enlightenment. How does he look at it? यावानर्धवुदपाने सर्वतः सम्प्लुतोदके तावान् सर्वेषु वेदेषु ब्राह्मणस्य विजानतः. Suppose you are having plenty of water all around. Do you require to dig a well separately? Not required. You are flooded with infinite bliss. When you are flooded with the bliss infinite, where is the question of little bit small happinesses outside? Why should you seek that? Nobody looks for digging a well when there is water all around readily available. Yavan arthavadapane sarvataha samplatodake tavan sarveshu bhuteshu brahmanasya vijanata. That's the Gita again. Anatma Sukham does not include the Atma Sukham. B does not include A, but A includes B. A is Atma Sukham, B is bodily Sukham. A Atma Sukham is much larger, infinite, compared to the Anatma or body-oriented Sukham. It is a part and parcel of the A only. But B is not included in the B is included in the A, but B does not include A. This is what you have to understand. Anatma Sukham is finite and Atma Sukham is infinite. Finite is already included in the infinite, and infinite cannot think or to include the infinite. Okay. Manisha Panchakam. Yat Saukhyam Vodhilesha Shakradayo Nirvruta Yat Chitte Nitaram Prashanta Kalana Labdva Munir Nirvruta Yasmin Nitya Sukham Budau Galitathir Brahmaivana Brahmavid Kaschitsa Surendra Vandita Padu Nunam Manisha Mama. When time comes, probably we will do that Manisha Panchakam, a wonderful Prakarana Grantha of Shankaracharya, to dwell deep into Atma Jnana. Okay? How he stated this Atma Jnani? Grihastha Deepavat, like Ghatastha Deepavat, like the Deepa placed inside the Ghata. There is no flickering of the mind anymore. With this verse is complete, rather incomplete too. There are several things about it, but anyway, I will share the PDF. You can go through those things. Bahya anitya sukha saktim hitva atma sukha nirvrutaha ghatastha deepavat swastaha swantareva prakashate. Okay, let us go to the next verse. Upadhistopi tattharmaihi alipto vyamavan munihi sarva vinmudhavatishtet asakto vayuvacharet. He has brought two analogies here. Upadhista api, even though he continues to live in the body, the upadhi. He is conditioned, everybody is limited, conditioned by the body. The Atma-jnana doesn't leave the body, and Atma-jnana is not a posthumous event. It is right here with the body itself. Only Advaita Vedanta promises Jivan Mukti. In every other discipline, every other darshana, or every other school of thought, Whatever liberation is posthumous, after death. Here it is now and here. That's why upadhistaha api, though he is still seated in the upadhi, tad dharmae, with those dharmas, with those attributes, aliptaha, not tainted, not engrossed, not touched by anything. How he will be? Vyomavan Munihi. Vyoma is the Akasha. Vyomavat Munihi. Vyomavan Munihi. Like that, this Muni, the Jnani, he will be like the Akasha. You see the sky? What is the color of the sky? What is the color of the sky, Lakshman?
Blue, sir.
Blue. You ask anybody in the whole world, sky is blue.
Blue.
But is it really blue?
No.
No.
It
But
appears to
having
be
known
blue.
that also, you still call blue sky. Okay? If you see a blue color, you equate it with sky. Anybody you ask, sky is blue. Even from LKG stage, we teach it. We all know the sky doesn't have a color. It is only a Tyndall effect. Once you read the colloids, you know the Tyndall effect of gases in liquids. When the gas in liquid is dispersed, you get a Tyndall effect. And see, the blueness of the sky, blueness of the ocean are not swabhavas of the sky. Sky is colorless. Space is colorless. Space is not liptaha, tainted by any color. Vyamavat Munihi. This Muni or Jnani is like the sky. Apparently, he is having upadhi, but he is not touched by the upadhi. As though apparently the sky is having blue color, the sky does not have blue color. Upadhista api, upadhistopi, tad dharmai, the dharma of the upadhi, of the body, aliptaha, not tainted. Like what? Like the blue. There is cloud. Do you think the sky is tainted by the cloud? Cloud comes and goes. The sky remains the same. Okay? Sarvavit, he knows everything because he is Atma Jnani and Atma Jnana is Sarvajnana. Atma Sarvavit, though he is Sarvavit, Mudhavat Tishtet. Mudha here is Anatma Jnani, the one who is in the worldly life. He looks like a worldly person. Modhavat is not fool. You should not translate it as Mudha is fool. He sits like a fool. You should not say. Mudha is what? Mudha is as though he is attached to the outside world. For everything, he does a puja. He does har arati. He takes bath in the Ganges. Means this is really an Atma Jnana. There is no puja. There is no worship. There is no Ganges bath. But for others, it appears, oh, he's also doing all these things like us. Mudhavat. Is Mudhavat state. Sir, he knows that these are not external things, are not the real jnana. Sarva with Mudhavat state. How? Ashakto, without any attachment whatsoever. How? Vayu Charet, like the breeze. The breeze is there. Breeze comes, touches the rose flower. Is it attached to the rose flower and gets stuck there? It goes on to the filthy drain. There the filthy smell of that will be there. Is the vayu attached to that? No. It goes on, good or bad. Like what? Vayuvat charet. How? Asaktaha. Not attached, not interested, not tainted. How? Like a sarvavin mudhavat asaktaha vayuvat charet. Upadhistopi tadharmai alipto vyomavat muni sarvavit mudhavat tishtet asakto vayuvat charet. That is the sloka. Now let's
Padisto api tadharmai alipto.
Upadhistopi tatharmaihi alipto vyomavan munihi. Vyomavat munihi, by Sandhi rule, it becomes vyomavan munihi. सर्ववित् मूढ़वत् सर्वविन् मूढ़वत् तिष्ठेत् असक्तो vayuvaccharet. Upadhistahapi, though associated with all the conditionings of his body-mind, tad dharmaha, the attributes of the BMI, body-mind intelligence, aliptaha, not tainted, not connected, not drenched, but like what? Vyomavavat, like space, like the space not tainted by the clouds, etc. And the color, Munihi, the contemplative soul, Sarvarit, the one ever knowing everything, Mudhavat, like a person without Atma Jnana, his state may remain like what? Akasha, Ashaktaha, unattached, Vayuvat, like the breeze, like the wind, Charet, moves about. We had said earlier that even after Jnanam, Jnani will continue to have the Upadhi because of the Prarabdha. Upadhi, body will continue. The moment I get Atma Jnana, my body will not disappear. Body will continue to be there. Everyone around sees the Swamiji, sees the learned person with the body. But he is not attached to the body dharmas. So, as long as the prarabdha is there, the shaririyam continues, and sukha dukkha anubhava will continue, and the vicissitudes of life will be there, but he is not having any reaction towards that. Naturally, the question will be how can a person liberated as long as he is having sharira and sukha dukkha anubhava? You may ask, so, okay, this gentleman is liberated soul. Okay, when he is liberated, he is still having the body. Yeah, he will continue to have. He is still having pain. I have taken a pin and pricked him. He wins, pain is there. Like that pleasure, I have given him a good cup of coffee. He drank it. There is little pleasure in his appearance. That doesn't mean he is engrossed with them. The sukha dukkha there are two things, anubhava and bhoga. Anubhava is cognition of the external objects. He cognizes all the external objects as you cognize. Like the table, rose, rat, cat, everything he sees like that. But he does not have a positive or negative emotional outburst against the anubhavas. The cognition is a universal for everyone. But the cognition does not generate any experiential emotional shift in him. That's how he lives. That's why he says, Upadhistopi, Upadhistaha api tadharmaihi aliptaha. There is no emotional attachment or emotional shift in his behavior, though he enjoys to cognize the objects of perception. Like what? Vyamavan Munihi. The sky will hold, of course, the clouds. Where are the clouds? Clouds are held by the space only. Where is the blueness? The blueness is there in the, is reflected in the sky only. But does not have any attachment with. That's what he exactly you have to understand. A jnani will have upadhi, a jnani will have sukha dukkha anubhava, that is cognition, and he will not have sukha dukkha bhoga. Anubhava is cognition, bhoga is emotionally experiencing sukha and dukkha. For example, there is a neighbor's son has come. What sort of emotional attachment you have? Hi, how are you? How is San Francisco? You are unfinished, that's all. But the people inside his parents, his grandparents, they will have an emotional attachment. How my person has come. That is the difference between cognition and anubhava. So cognition and emotional attachment. He will have cognition, he will not have mental, emotional experience. He is with the body, but tadharmaihi na lipyate. His bhoga is not there. Anubhava will continue to be there as long you will have the body. So sometimes we get sickness. This sickness is 80% of the sickness is mind sickness. Only 20% is the body problem. What we will do? This 20% body problem, we take a magnifying lens and enlarge it to the mind, make it this big, and start suffering in the mind. To converse with the happiness also. There is 10% happiness in the experience, but you create 90% extra happiness and you think that it is so much full of happiness. Both ways it will work. Okay? Now, this Munihi here is the person. Munihi means a person who does not speak. Actually, the word Muni means does not do any talking. Doesn't mean that. Here, Muni is a person who is engrossed in the Atma Tattva. He speaks nothing other than about the inner self. Tadharmaihi aliptaha. Does not worry about the Upadhi's problem. He is Jnani, Muni, but not out of careless attitude. He purposefully chooses to be insensitive to all the stimuli around. He's not careless. Somebody may be careless and not cognize objects around and then start hitting them or doing whatever they like. This is not careless attitude. This is not a thick skin. This is not an insensitivity. But it is because of the jnana that everything else is unreal and Atma only is the Satya, like Vyomavath, like the Akasha, unaffected by anything that happens in the Akasha. There is a lot of dust in the Akasha. The space is not affected. There is blue color, space is not affected. There is cloud, space is not affected. There is Vidyut, that is the lightning is there, space is not affected. Like that, because of the disease, some people have to suffer. Let the suffering be there. But then that is prarabdha. But the emotional outpouring towards that suffering is minimal or not there. That's why Vyomavat aliptaha. Then Sarvavit Mudhavat Tishtet is Sarvavit. Even though the Jnani is a Buddhist of people, how does he behave? He doesn't pose, yeah, I'm Jnani, you are all Ajnanis. Don't come and touch me. I'm Jnani. I'm Jnani. You are all Ajnanis. It doesn't pose as though he is Sarvavit, as though he is Jnani, as though he is Atma Jnani, and lives just like other people. Mudhavat, just like the Ajnani itself, he will conduct. You cannot identify him, nor he never tries to identify that he is a Jnani. A jnani will be like water under a mat or a carpet. It's invisible. It doesn't want to be prominent. It doesn't want to be in the videos. It doesn't want in the photographs. So one day I went and approached one Swamiji in Rishikesh. Sir, can I take a picture with you? Okay, you take, but what for? He asked. No, sir, I want to have you. Oh, you want to have my picture and not my teachings. In that case, you take picture, he said. Then I stopped the picture. What is picture? It fades in memory, in physically also. In real picture is understanding the teacher's teaching and walking the talk, isn't it? That's how we have to. Yeah. He will be Vishnu Bhakta among Vishnu Bhaktas, Shiva Bhakta among Shiva Bhaktas. It's tamarind rice, pulihara in the Vishnu Bhakta quota, in Shiva Bhakti quota, he takes the Vibhuti and puts. But he is not either Shiva Bhakta or Vishnu Bhakta. He is Atma Bhakta. Okay? Sarvavit, that is knowing everything, Modhavat Tishtet. He will be like a sort of person who is really not enlightened. Though enlightened, he doesn't show up his enlightenment. He will not make himself prominent. Now what will happen? What we are doing? For every small thing, we require a video. For a smallest function, somebody is piercing the ear, you have to spend 5 lakhs, call 200 people, caterer, videos, all that. Do you think it's and those videos you never yourself see again? And you want to live telecast that. What is the big thing to live telecast? Ear boring, you tell me? Or head shaving? What is the big thing? So unnecessarily, you create so much of uh, pompous around us, and then we get engrossed in them, not understanding the real value of a human birth. Okay, concept of unattached stage. Say, in the volatile landscape of this modern enterprise, ultimate competitive advantage is not technical proficiency alone. The internal equilibrium a manager shows. The unattached person, his equilibrium is maintained. He is not attached with some company is doing well or company is doing not well. But he takes actions to those situations, but never gets engrossed or attached with that, like Vyomavat, Vayuvat. Two examples is given. Vyoma is space, Vayu is wind or breeze. Differentiating the biological reality from psychological reaction. There is a biological pain. Everyone will have a biological pain. If I am pricked, I get pain. If I am Atma Jnani, I don't overreact to the pain. The biological pain and the psychological pain. Biological pain is cognition. Psychological pain is the bhoga. Difference between anubhava and bhoga. Biological pain, anubhava, everyone will get. Psychological pain, bhoga, or not having bhoga is a mental or psychological sphere. Okay. Biological pain, inevitable for everyone. Prarabdhajanyam, factual and neutral. Rose doesn't say, you appreciate me, I'm very good. Rose is the rose, just as an object. The one who likes the rose, he'll have passion towards the rose. Okay? And then he tries to cut it and pluck it. One who is neutral, who enjoys the beauty and leaves it there. A data point in the environment is biological pain. Psychological pain is optional. If you choose to be psychologically bound to the object outside, you get raga. If you choose to shun away from that, you get dvesha. It is optional, subjective, narrative that distorts your mental equilibrium. That is why bhoga you should never have. Anubhava, let it be there. Let the cognition will be there like any other person. That's why he said, Modhavat Tistet. Acharya says, Modhavat means like an Ajnani. He conducts among Ajnanis as Ajnani. He conducts as Vaishnava among Vaishnavas. He conducts as Christian among Christians. He conducts as a Muslim among Islam followers. There is no attachment to anyone. The fluidity of the influence, the space and the wind model. He has given two models, the space model and the wind model. Vyomavat, Vayuvat. Vat means like. Yes, like Vat, Vyomavat. Vyomavat, space principle. The leader in the company must embody the quality of space, just as the space is never wet from rain, nor scorched by the sun. A contemplative leader in the company remains constant regardless of the environment in the company. In a professional setting, this manifests as an indifference to the opposites of organizational life. In organizational life, you will have dualities. One day somebody will praise, oh, such a great man, you are doing this. Next day they will say, you are the worst person, you have killed the organization by doing this. Both you have to understand why they are saying so. Take remedial measures and don't get elated or depressed by those comments. You don't require external validation. Unfortunately, all of us seek external validation for our continuation of life. If you start seeking external validation, done. You never will be able to lead your life in an equanimous state. Vyomavat, Vayuvat. What is Vayuvat? Like wind. The core remains still. Leaders' movement through the organization is like wind, moving from project to project, department to department, person to person, task to task, asaktaha, unattached. Just as the Vayu moves from a beautiful rose garden to a filthy cesspool, moves, this fluidity is required for you. This fluidity in your life is driven by the elimination of differentiation and asakti or attachment. This asakti produces raga and Anasakti produces dvesha. So asakti, anasakti, raga, dvesha, they disturb the fluidity of you. They make you rigid. So you need to be in the environment of, in your corporate environment also, you need to be fluid in your mind. This fluidity is explained by the example Vayu, just as the Vayu flows unattached to anything. If the Vayu goes on the king, it doesn't understand it is king, and then it gets attached and stuck there. Vayu goes on the beggar, it doesn't. Okay, in Acharya, once Kirtana, he says, the sunlight never discriminates in elephant and a dog. Oh, elephant, such a big animal. I am shining on this elephant. No, no, I am shining on this poor little, bone eating, bone scratching the dog. The sunlight does never discriminate. That's light. You should be like that, equanimous, with organizational balance and fluidity. And you should be, not that you should be indifferent. You understand the situation, react appropriately, not more, not less. And at the same time, not creating an emotional, mental fix and attachment to that. The neutralization of the bias is important. This Shakti prevents the formation of a grid page. I have favorites. I have, things such which I don't like. This sort of pairing you avoid in life. What we do, we pair. Ah, this is very nice. That is not nice. They are very good people. These are very bad people. This is my son. This is not my son. All this pairing you do. You stop pairing these things. It's called dvandvas. In Vedanta, we say dvandvasaktaha, not pairing the things that are. The leader can pivot between diverse tasks without the emotional drag of the associations and interpersonal baggage. If you have an attachment association with one or two persons in the company, you carry an interpersonal baggage. That baggage is sometimes very heavy to give away. Suddenly that person disappears, let us say, from the company, you feel a void. So you take care of the people under you, you respect the people above you, but don't get attached to any one of these things and prevent your drag or unnecessary baggage in the company. The organizational health depends upon the leader who is detached and attached. This is called detached attachment. Is he attached to the company? Yeah, he takes care of the company. Is he detached? Yeah, he is not attached with any unnecessary emotional attachment. He doesn't have. You see, beautiful. This detached attachment is what Gita and all the Vedanta teaches you. All this is not moksha elsewhere. This is to keep you happy right now and here in this worldly life. That's why he said, Upasistopi, even though with the upadhi you are there, this is the way you have to conduct. True influence requires tactical empathy, but this empathy must not cost the leader their objective authority. This is managed through Sarvavid Modhavat. If you are Sarvavit, how can be Modhavat? Sarvavit means he knows everything about the technology, but he sits there as though he does not. You see, great leaders in the board meetings, they know everything about the process and company sort of dynamics, but they sit as though they don't know anything. If a newcomer comes and presents something, yeah, he listens like a Modhavat. He doesn't say, yeah, I know this. You don't have to tell me like that. Sarvavit Modhavat. Sarvavit Modhavat paradox. You have to understand and live. Though you are a Sarvavit, those you possess all the knowledge, you know how you have, you behave as though you are a commoner. You are relatable peer to your persons. If you keep yourself at a higher pedestal, the others will find it difficult to approach you and reach you. You should be like a relatable peer to ensure integration of your workflow. Okay, creating intellectual discard. Na buddhibedam janaya janayat. That's their Gita sloka. Cultural alignment, operational alignment, intellectual alignment, All these are possible when you are not attached and not emotionally bound. The sage is a masked one. He doesn't appear as though he is a sage. He is a masked sage. Sage is inside, but the external world, he appears as though like a common man. Jivan Mukta. We are talking about Jivan Mukta. Conclusion: the unattached sage model. What is the model he is giving here? The model is unattached sage model. What is the verse again? Let's read the verse once again. What is the verse? Upathistaha api. He is conditioned. Take it to the company. He is very much in the thick of the company. Tatharmai naliptaha. The good and bad of the company doesn't emotionally disturb him. Like what? Vyamavan Muni. He is Sarvaved, he is the CEO, he knows everything, Modhavat, like a common man, Tishtet, conducts. Asaktaha, not getting emotionally clogged or attached to any one or two of the situations, or not getting polarized and ever approachable for everybody in the company. Like Vayuvat Charet, this sort of unattached sage model, Vayuvat model, and then the Vyamavat model are wonderful models for the corporate world also, for the any day-to-day life also. Need not be corporate world, a teacher and student relationship, and then employer-employee relationship, husband and wife relationship. For everything, this is very important. Son and father relationship. Okay? Detached attachment. The unattached sage model ensures long-term leadership sustainability by decoupling the inevitable challenges of the prarabdha from the optional suffering of samsara. You have two things. Prarabdha, the cognition, the experience, you will get it. But the anubhava is optional. Samsara is your how you react to that and how you enjoy or dislike a thing. That is samsara. Prarabdha will be there. Samsara is because of your option to choose how you react to the situation. It is often said, problem 80% of the problem is how react to the problem. Only 20% is the real problem. Om Tat Sat. With that, the PDFs are available. I'm going to share the PDFs to you. Some more discussions are available in the PDF. You please go through them. Also, please read the previous ones and listen to these teachings any number of times because they are the crux of your conducting this worldly life too, not only the Atma Jnana. उपाधिस्तोऽपि तद्धर्मैः अलिप्तो व्योमवन्मुनिः सर्ववित् मूढवत्तिष्ठेत् असक्तो वयुवच्चरेत्. With this, I am ending today's adhyayana or study. There is no teacher or taught. It is only we are studying together. Then only you will be able to approach me. If I say I am teacher and I have like a sarvavit, if I behave, zero. I should behave like a commoner. Mudhavat tishte.
ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः